Ready? Are you guys ready to learn with me today? Yay! So all of you that are here, you are either here on accident, clickbait, or you're here because you know me and I told you to come watch it. So since this is out of view, I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, we got that out the way. It's not going to be in the shot, so I'm just telling y'all. So, there's not really an introduction I can put out there. You know what? I made one. I'm just going to stick it in there real quick. Yeah, that wasn't professional, but you know what I mean, and you mean what I know. So, initially, first of all, I'm hot. I'm not scared. Like, I'm nervous because I've never put everything out there like this ever. So let's just jump right into it. I am Mandy. You can call me Mandy. That is my real name, by the way. I'm 36 years old and I'm diagnosed with being bipolar. And I'm also beautiful. So I have a story to go along with my diagnosis. And I'm only giving y'all one diagnosis. I got other things going on with me, but y'all ain't ready for that. If you want to be my friend and you want to be there for me, then maybe I'll tell y'all later. No. Okay. So for me, I would have to go all the way back to the beginning. So let's see. Let's go into a time where everything was honky-dory. Not perfect, but it was okay. So my mom is originally from Hearn, Texas. Hearn, Texas is a itty-bitty small town. And that caused me to have to spend summers there. Naturally, of course. So my grandmother lived there, and then I had family that lived in like surrounding areas too. So this all started in Hearn, Texas. So I'm just gonna start there. So I remember when I was younger, my mom would send me to my grandmother's house during the summers, you know, to hang out with my family and get to know them, because we always lived somewhere else. I was an Army brat, so we were always somewhere else. But in the summers, I always was in Hearn. So I remember this, and I don't have an exact age, but I asked my mom because, oh my God, my hands are like kind of shaking. So, I remember, sorry about smacking y'all, that's a really bad habit I have, I'm so sorry. I remember going to my grandmother's house and playing with kids that lived around us, and them being called my cousins, even if we weren't related per se, they would be labeled as my cousins, always. So, I had one particular play cousin. I'm going to protect her and say her name was Tasha. So Tasha had, I don't even know her correlation with who she lived with or why she was there in the summers. I don't know. I don't remember. I was so young. Anyways, one particular night, Tasha asked my grandmother if I could stay the night at her house. So, of course, I'm all excited. I'm hyped up or whatever. So, my granny said yes, and I ended up at Tasha's house with her. I don't know who lived there. I know it was her grandfather. So, he was cooking. And I'll never forget, because, you know, like as a kid, or even as an adult, certain memories are like nostalgic. A smell. A person, a sound, music, anything can trigger you. And to this day, I don't like whole crabs. Like, I'll eat snow crabs, but I won't eat whole body crabs because of this man. So check this out. This is what Sicko did. He was cooking them in the pot or whatever. And I remember him calling her like, Tasha, come here. You want to see? You want to see? So he picked her up. We were small. So he picked her up so she could look in the pot. And she was looking and she was looking. I'm like, man, I want to see. I want to look too. So he got done and, you know, he like, Mandy. And everybody called me Mandy Pandy. Mandy Pandy, you want to see? You want to see? So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I want to see. Let me see too, nigga. So he picked me up. And I had on a nightgown. I had on no pants. I had on a nightgown. I was probably like 7 or 8. So it was like a regular schmegular nightgown with ruffles. It was white and it had hot pink and lime green stripes over it. And I don't know if y'all remember who Rainbow Bright is. It had Rainbow Bright in the front. And I had a matching nightgown for my doll. It came with like the pajamas. So I had a little doll baby, Rainbow Bright, and she had her dress on. So he picked me and Rainbow Bright up so we could look in the pot. I don't think that he, you know, was fondling underneath Rainbow Bright's nightgown, but he was showing underneath Mandy Pandy's. And he didn't per se penetrate me. I don't know if it's 'cause I was so small that he was just testing me to see how I would react. But I never forget looking at those crabs in the bucket, and I was already like scared looking at that anyway because I was small and I really didn't know what I was looking at. They looked like they was coming out. But then on top of that, to have this pervert, that's the only way I can describe it. A pervert sitting there finessing, you know, your little girl parts. I don't know how long he was doing it. I don't know. I can't, you know what I'm saying? But he did that crap and I never forgot it. And I remember going to bed that night and like I wanted to fake like I had a stomach ache so I could say like I wanted to go back to my granny house, but I didn't want to get in trouble because I knew that my granny didn't live close and we would have to get in the car and then drive and it was dark outside. I was a kid still worried about upsetting everybody else. So I went to sleep. I woke up to the door opening. He came into the bedroom. I was in one bed and Tasha was in the other bed. There was no one else in the room. And I like closed my eyes, of course, because I didn't know what he was coming back to do. I didn't know if he wanted to, you know, if my reaction was good or it was bad. I didn't know. So I faked like I was asleep because that's what kids do. I closed my eyes and I thought I heard him come into my bed, but he didn't. He went to her bed. And I don't know if he carried her out the room or like woke her up and she walked out the room, because like I said, I closed my eyes because I didn't really, you know what I'm saying, I was low-key happy it wasn't me. But I remember that night vivid as fuck in my head. That's good stuff right there. Oh, I wrote some stuff down because I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was going to get all caught up in that bullshit. Ugh. Okay, so next I was going to address his identity. At first I was like, you know what, this is just my testimony, this is just for me, this ain't for them, this da 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 da. And then I'm like, you know what, you helped me get this testimony, so I'm gonna give you your shine. You know, just like you dimmed my light when I was small, I'm going to go ahead and dim yours today. So I don't know his real name. I might even be saying it wrong, but because everyone in the South is so country, it sounds like they're saying Uncle Warren or Uncle Worm. I can't figure out which one it is, but that was his name. No, he was not a direct blood relative of mine. I think it was like an extension of a, you my cousin, you my girl, now them our kids is cousins type thing. So I really don't give a fuck about his identity. Next, because I'm going up. I was about maybe 10. I have an aunt that lives in the surrounding area. I should say her name because I can't stand her ass. But she didn't do this to me, so it's not about her directly. I'll get to her later down the line. But I had an aunt, and she had multiple kids. 5, I think. 5 of them. And then me, and then I have a sister. We would be over there. So, and it was a mixture of girls and boys. But I was the youngest girl. I'm the youngest girl. So at any rate, here we go again with the play cousin thing. I was touched by someone else. Literally, Hearn is maybe, I think, 11 miles from this town. Literally up the street from where it happened the first time, a few years back. So, where I'm at my aunt's house, and she had somebody over there to play cousins again. This was not any of my biological male cousins. Okay, I'm gonna put that. Okay, so this was a play cousin over there, whatever. I remember, do y'all remember this movie growing up? It was called Garbage Pail Kids. I remember because the first time I seen it was at my cousin's house, and I got obsessed with the movie, and we would watch it all the time. Garbage Pail Kids. If you haven't watched it, it's a really good movie. It's a bop. So we were watching that movie again. Nostalgia. It smelled like pee, because it always smelled like pee in that trailer, because it was a bunch of boys. And that movie was on. Cannot watch that, will not watch that movie as an adult, because I know exactly what part and what scene that this cousin came and told me to come here. Come to the bathroom, I want to show you something. I gotta show you something. Hurry up, hurry up. Judgy Wudgy was a bear. So he says, come in the bathroom, come in the bathroom. I went in a what was a trailer? I went in the bathroom, and the way the bathroom was, it had 2 entries. It's funny how you remember shit when it had 2 entries. So he opened the door and pushed me in, and then turned the light off. The other door was already locked from the other side, because you can lock it on both sides. Hits the lights, lock the door, start talking about he trying to play Candyman or some crap with me. And I'm crying because I'm like, I don't want to play Candyman. Like I said, I was small, y'all. I had to be maybe like 9, maybe 9, if that. And I'm crying, like I don't want to play Candyman, like, you know, crying because I'm thinking he real. And he was like, well, he won't come get you if you touch me right here. And he, of course, wanted me to touch his boy parts. So I had to touch his boy parts in order to get out the bathroom. But that was supposed to be my cousin, though. And you want to know something else? I'm going to go ahead and say it. On the other side of the other door, not on this particular day, but in the past, I remember going to the bathroom once and seeing and opening that door because I heard someone crying on the other side, and I saw I have an older female cousin. Someone was in there messing with her, And I know for a fact she's came out and she's told people that this individual touched her. And I don't know if nobody believed her or whatever the case may be. I seen it. I seen her in the room with him. I saw her on the bed crying, covering her face. That's all I can say. If you do what you want with it. But I believe her to this day. And me and her not even close, like, at all. Me and her always bumping heads. But I know what I saw. And I know she has been telling people that for years. And I think people try to say she's crazy. That's what it did to her. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose of me doing this right here. It's not to expose anyone. It's not to throw anybody under the bus. You did it. You need to be accountable for your actions. I have to live with your actions every day of my life. I have to. This is empty right now, but I literally have to go pick a prescription up tomorrow. It doesn't stop. I have a plethora of things I have to do. I have to do therapy. I have to talk. I have a psychiatrist. I have a therapist. And I'm on medication. And I'm in anger management. Because if I don't control this thing, I will hurt somebody. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm big and bad. Like, that's where minds go. Some people, from the books I've read, the research I've done, some people deal with child molestation totally different than others. Some people turn to drugs. Some people become promiscuous. Some people become angry. I was an angry person. I didn't look for sex. I was cool on that because I was traumatized. Drugs, I didn't really care for it. I didn't even start drinking until I was well after 21. So it was just hard for me to figure out. So I guess I just fought a lot. And you know, I was in a city. I was in Philadelphia. I was in the perfect place for it. They call it the city of brotherly love. But let me tell you something. You gotta fight. You gotta motherfucking fight. Eat or be eaten. Literally. It ain't no joke, y'all. So I'm gonna stop right there because my mental is like very, very sensitive. I think everything is a process. And like I said, this is not done with malicious intent. This is for me. I don't care who sees this. I don't care who you show it to. I don't care what that person says or how they feel about it. This is my truth and this is what I said. And I said what I said and you can see me about it. So, no, but I really do want to get this out because it's better out than in. And there's more to come. It's much, much deeper than what it appears to be. You're going to really see how strong I am. When you, if you stick around and you listen, it's a whole lot of shit. But I made it, so. And I'm sweating bullets, so I'm going to stop right here. Whew. Fix it, Lord.